Hey guys, welcome again to my YouTube channel Automation Pathshala. This is Vishwa. So today we'll be discussing one more important topic which is frequently asked in interviews. That is polymorphism. If you've not seen my previous video guys related to inheritance, please do watch that, because if you directly jump to this polymorphism, you cannot understand anything. Okay, that's why I'll recommend it. If you have not watched till yet, please go and watch inheritance concepts. Okay. Now, when I say about polymorphism, guys, there's nothing, people are always confusing about this, right? They'll tell polymorphism is nothing but method overloading and method overriding. I will hardly recommend it, you guys. Never use this statement going forward in any of the interview that what is polymorphism? Don't say method overloading and method overriding. Okay. Remember, polymorphism can be achieved through method overloading and method overriding. It can be achieved using these two concepts, but polymorphism is not same as method overloading and method overriding, because polymorphism has its own mechanism, its own way of working, right? So please try to avoid by saying this statement method overloading and overriding is not polymorphism. Okay, let's try to understand more. We'll deep dive into the more about the polymorphism, right? Guys, if you divide this poly and morphism, poly means what? It's a many, right? Morphism is what? It's a form. So if one person, right, behaves as a different form based on the situation, that is nothing but polymorphism, guys. For example, when I'm Bishwa, right? So Bishwa, when enters into a software company, he behaves as a software engineer, right? When he enters into his family or into his home, he behaves as a family man, right? When he enters into a party, he'll become a party man, right? When he enters into YouTube, he's a content creator. He acts as a content creator, right? YouTuber. So person is same. Based on the situation, he is changing himself. Okay, the form has been changing, correct? So based on the situation, if someone is behaving differently, that is nothing but what? Simple polymorphism. Right? Similarly, in Java, if one object based on situation, if it is behaving differently, then that is nothing but what? Polymorphism. And it can be achieved through method overloading and method overriding. Okay, let's try to understand what is method overloading, guys. Remember, when I ask this question to most of the candidates, either in place of method overloading, they'll tell method overriding. In place of method overriding, they'll tell method overloading. Correct? So please don't be confused, guys. I hope after watching this session, you won't be confused at all, right? Going forward. So guys, method overloading, right? When I say this line, method overloading, when I say this line, right? So what does this mean, guys? Overloading. It means one person, one person is overloaded with so many tasks, Okay. For example, I'm Vishwa. I'm doing homework, right? The work related to my room cleaning or something in the weekend. At the same time, I'm doing YouTube contents. At the same time, I'm going for a office work, right? I'm doing that as well. So a same person, Vishwa, is overloaded with different tasks, right? That is nothing but what? I'm been overloaded. I'll say, dude, I'm getting overloaded, right? So that is nothing but overloading. So similarly, for a particular method, if you try to pass different argument and you overloaded that method will, shout and will tell, dude, you are a Java developer. Please don't overload me with these kind of argument, right? That concept is nothing but overloading, right? Let us try to see, guys. Let us try to see, let us try to see how we can achieve this method overloading. So I'm creating a sample package. Let's say demo something, demo. Inside this, let me create quickly a class file. Okay, I'll give it as method overloading demo, something like this. Okay. I hope this is clear, the visuals. Fully static void main of string argument. The method always starts from Java, always starts from main method. Let me do one thing. I'll create a non-static method, public void, let's say t1, and I will something write system.out.println, and you know what this is t1 method, right? Now guys, method having same name, you are giving with different argument, right? You're overloading. This is nothing but overloading, right? Just change the argument. Method having same name, same return type, right? Same access specifier, same modifier with different argument. Here it's a no arg. This is a t1 method with no arg. It means we are not passing any argument. Here this is t1 method with int arg, right? Int arg. You can ask me, sir, can I overload it with multiple parameters? Really, you can pass string as argument, right? You can ask me, sir, can I overload it with different return type? Happily, you can change the return type, guys. You can make it as int, and make sure whenever you are writing return type changing to int, make sure you return something, right? So return, let's say I'm returning I. Okay, I'm returning I. So let me see what it's telling me, that it's already defined in scope. Okay, somewhere I have defined one. Okay guys, this is one of the interview tricky question again. Okay, make sure while you are overloading, don't give the same parameters, okay, or duplicate parameters, because compiler cannot understand. He'll get confused which method it has to call. That's why don't pass a duplicate overloading method, right? Remove one, and this is how, right? This is how you can overload a method. Now if you want to call a non-static method inside static, what you have to do is to create the object, right? You have to create the object, creating the object, then with the help of the reference you can call t1. Let's see guys, where I'm passing, let's say 100, and with let's say Vishwa, and similarly I can call this t1 where I can pass only 300, right? So if you see guys, the method resolution, right? The method resolution in overloading happens at compile time, because the method resolution, when I say, is nothing but binding of method call to method body, right? The calling of method call to method body, that is nothing but the method resolution, right? So if you see here, the t1, which t1 will get called, where you are giving two arguments. Now when I call only t1 with 300, which t1 will get called? Int arg. As this concept is nothing but overloading. Okay, any doubt? No, right? This is a simple concept. Now let us try to understand what is method overriding, right? What I will do is I'll create one more class. Let's say method overriding, right? Method overriding. Let's just observe what do what do you mean by overriding? When I say method overriding, right? Let's try to understand with the easy example, guys. You know, method overriding, you are overriding something. Okay, remember, let's say this is your parent. Okay, let's say your parent wants you to be a teacher. Your parents wants you to be a teacher. This is your parents' ambition, right? But this is not your ambition, right? Your ambition is you wanted to become a software engineer, but at the same time you will be teaching also. Okay, it means this child is not happy with this parent, right? He is telling that no doubt I will be a teacher, but I'll be a software engineer also. It means if you are not happy with your parent class implementation, if you want to provide your own implementation, then you can go for what is method overriding, right? Let's try to understand with a small example. Let's say method overriding, and okay, instead of method overriding, let's understand in this way. Let's say I'll create a class called parent ambition. Okay, parent ambition. Inside this, let us see, create one non-static method. Let's say public void. My parent's name is they wanted me to become a teacher, right? So system.out.println, my parents' ambition is Vishwa, uh, Vishwa to become, or else something like this. This is my parent ambition. I want Vishwa to be a teacher, something like this. Okay, something like this. Now what happened, guys? Now let me create one child. Let's say this is child ambition. My child ambition is, remember guys, you have to inherit, right? Because overriding without inheriting, where you will implement, right? If you're not happy with your parent class implementation, you want to use your own class implementation. That's why inherit is required, right? It extends parent ambition. Remember, when I say overriding, inheritance is most required, guys. Okay, one of the interview tips. Okay. Now what happened? When you extend, let us say create a main method, and inside that just overriding the teacher method, right? Probably let's the same method, because I want to override. Remember guys, if you are overriding means everything is same, method having same name, same argument, same return type. Okay? So but Vishwa don't want to be a teacher, rather he want to be a software engineer, right? So Vishwa, or let's say I am the one, something like this. Vishwa, I wanted to be a teacher, but pair software engineering concepts, right? Software engineering concepts. So what you observed here, guys, I overridden the method, right? But I'm changing the implementation because I'm not happy with my parent class implementation. That is my parents' ambition. They wanted me to be a teacher, but I will be teacher, right? Because the teacher method is same, but the implementation is different. I want my own implementation. That is nothing but overriding, right? You are overridden, or you are overriding something because you are not happy with your parent class implementation. You want to provide your own implementation, right? That's why method having same name, same argument, same return type, but the implementation is different, is nothing but what? Method overriding, guys. Okay, so these two are the two different concepts. Okay, now what happens, sir, if I want to change the return type here? Okay, if I want to change the return type to int, remember guys, it will immediately tell you a comparison issue by saying, Vishwa, teacher method, there is no method defined in parent class, and remember the teacher is having the void as a return type. So can you please change it to either void, okay, or create one more method with integer return type in parent class. Okay, so remember guys, if whenever you go for overriding, if you are not satisfied with your parent class implementation, you are trying to provide your own implementation, you can happily go for method overriding. Okay, very easy, right guys? It's nothing to worry, guys. Okay, see here now what happens, let us see. I will create a object for child ambition equal to new child ambition. I'm creating object for child class, guys. Okay, I'm calling a teacher method. Can you tell which teacher method will execute? Definitely child class only, right? Because you're creating the object for child class, and reference is also type of what? Child class only. Yes or no? So just observe the output, guys. See the output. Vishwa, I wanted to be a teacher but say software engineering concept. It means it is trying to execute, this overridden method of child class. Now, guys, what happens? It's a trick. This is one of the most important introduction, guys. Now, what happens when I'll create an object for parent? I'll create a reference type of parent, but the object is of what? Child type. And with this parent type reference, if I call this teacher, just think a bit, guys, which teacher method will execute? Parent class teacher or child class teacher? Remember, teacher method is present in both parent and child, right? See, here also teacher is there, and in parent also we have a teacher method. Now, can you please tell me which teacher method will get executed in this line? One of the most important question, guys. Remember, just see the output. Okay, just see the output. If you see, the output itself is telling you that it is printing, it is printing, same child class, right? Guys, you can ask me, sir, I have created the object for child, but the reference is of parent type, right? Then why it is not taking the parent type teacher method? Why it is printing the child type? Guys, remember, there comes a beautiful Java concept called as, let me create one more tab for you. It's called, runtime polymorphism. That runtime polymorphism. So what do you mean by runtime polymorphism? If you are overloading any method, if you are overridden any method, or if you are overriding any method, based on the object creation at a runtime, it will decide to whom method it has to call. Okay, so it means method resolution happens at runtime based on the object creation at runtime. This beautiful concept is called as runtime polymorphism. Okay, because if you see this, even though I created this reference type of parent, it doesn't matter, right? Because I'm creating the object for child class. So in the runtime, it will decide that, okay, Vishwa has created the object for child, whatever may be the reference, let's call the teacher of child class only. Because object creation happens at runtime always, right? So that's why based on the object creation, it will decide to whom it has to call. This beautiful concept is nothing but runtime polymorphism, guys. I hope going forward, if anyone is asking in the interview, please blast this like this. Okay, now what happens, guys? This, sometimes this is called late binding also. The same concept is called late binding, because lately binding, right? The method binding happens lately, means runtime. That's why this concept is also called as, late binding, or we can say this is dynamic polymorphism also. Dynamic polymorphism. Remember, concept is same. What is dynamic polymorphism? What is late binding? What is runtime polymorphism? Concept is same. What is the concept? Method resolution happens at runtime based on the object creation at runtime. Okay, it means if you overloaded a method, then based on the object creation, particular method will get a chance for the execution. Okay, now a small twist, guys. A small twist. What happened in the parent class? I will declare a static method, public static void, let's say test1. Simply writing system.out.println. This is parent test1 static method, right? Sir, can I overload a static method? Remember, guys, static is nothing but a class level access, right? Then you can happily overload. You can happily overload with a different argument. Happily overload. Static method can be overloaded happily, right? Now what happens? Sir, can I overriding static method? Remember, guys, most of the interview, they'll definitely, to check your concept, they'll ask this question: can you override a static method? Immediately the candidate is saying nowadays, no, static method cannot be overridden, because static members are the class level access, right? We cannot override, because if I want to override, then it has to come into the child class, another class. So that's why it cannot be overridden. Remember, guys, and it will give some compilation issue. Some people are saying it will give you a compilation issue. Static member cannot be overridden. Let's see the proof, guys. What I will do, I'll take this static method, I'll go to my child class. Child is always extending. Now just override. I will override the static, right? Guys, any compilation issue? No, right? So you can override static method. Okay, you can overload, we can override also, but remember, don't say this is called method overriding. Rather, there is a very, very important concept is called method hiding, guys. Okay, this concept is called method hiding. Remember, don't tell if you are overriding a static method, don't tell we are overriding, rather you tell it's a method hiding concept. Okay, now what happens in case of method hiding? So sir, what happens if I want to call, something like this? Let's create an object for parent class, and let's say child ambition and parent ambition one dot, you know, let us try to call it off. Let's say yes, what is the method name is, we have a test one, right? So let's call test one, and let's say 200 pass a argument, right? So guys, what I've done is I'm creating the object for child class, but the parent is of parent type. I'm calling a static method. Now which static method will get executed? Parent is also having static, child is also having static method, right? Here the twist is there, right guys? I know your answer will be, sir, you created the object for child class, right? Same as runtime polymorphism. It will execute the child class static method. Hey guys, just observe, the output. Just observe the last line. Okay, what is the last line telling, guys? This is parent test one static method. So it executed which one? Parent class static method, right? What is the twist here? Remember guys, this beautiful concept is called as static polymorphism or early binding, okay, or compile time polymorphism. Because in static polymorphism, if you're overriding, it means if you're overriding means method hiding concept is applicable. The method hiding, and at that time, if your static method is overriding, then based on your reference type, a particular method will get a execution. So in this case, compiler, because static polymorphism happens at compile time, that's why it's called early binding. Compilation means early, right? So in early the binding is happening, and compiler is very naughty. He's very aware that okay, this guy has created the object for child, but to whom he has created the reference? Parent type. And he's calling which method? Test one. Test one is present static method? Yes. Present in which class? Parent class. Definitely he'll go and execute the parent class method, static method, right? So method resolution happens at compile time. That's why this beautiful concept is called what? Guys, this beautiful concept is called static polymorphism, or static polymorphism, or early binding, or compile time polymorphism. Okay, this is nothing but guys. So in case of, if anyone asks difference between static polymorphism, dynamic polymorphism, or compile time or runtime polymorphism, in compile time polymorphism, method resolution is not decided based on the to whom you are creating the object, rather which one is high priority. The reference type is high priority to whom you are creating the reference. That method will get executed in starting, because method hiding concept is applicable. In case of dynamic, object to whom you are creating the object, that will take the high priority. Okay, I hope guys, after watching this video, you won't do any mistake. If anyone is asking about polymorphism, I hope you kill the interview guys. Okay, so if you really like this video, please do like, subscribe to my channel. I'll come up with like this different new and interesting topics of Java. And the guy who is really wanted to switch to automation sector and wanted to give us an interview in the various questions related to this Java, is watch this video guys. It will really help you a lot. Okay, I hope you find some learning. Okay, till then, I'll just come up with another interesting topic on my next session guys. Okay, till then, please take care of your health. Okay, have a very good day, and please keep on watching my channel and content guys. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.